Namaste, good afternoon. A very warm welcome to all. Today we are here to celebrate, educate and aware each other on the occasion of National Nutrition Month, which is by the initiative of IHW Council is known as Bharat Nutrition Week for this month. The objective to celebrate this week every year is to aware and to bring change in the nutritional status of masses. Department of Food and Nutrition, College of Home Science, SKRAU Bikaner welcomes you all and hope that this international webinar will fulfill its purpose and bring the change into the society. To all the participants, if you have any queries, please write your queries in the chat box. We are also streaming live on YouTube. Link is already given in chat box. Now, without much delay, I would like to invite Dr. Vimla Dunkwal, Professor and Head, Department of Food and Nutrition, College of Home Science, SKRAU, for introduction of the Bharat Nutrition Week and the webinar.
Thank you. Thank you, Nilakshi. Good afternoon to one and all. As we all know, we are here to celebrate Poshan Maha. National Nutrition Month is being celebrated across the country to mark the fight against malnutrition. Before we start this event, we should know how this came in existence. National Nutrition Week back to 1982, when government launched a campaign to educate individuals about importance of nutrition and urged them to maintain a healthy and sustainable lifestyle. The decision to celebrate September as the National Nutrition Month every year was taken during the second meeting of National Council on India Nutritional Challenges under the Poshan Abhiyan held in July 2018 with the aim to bring down stunting of children in age group of 0 to 6 years from 38% to 25% by 2022. As we also know that we are celebrating the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav in a broad perspectives, and the theme of the National Nutrition Maha is feeding smart right from start. Poshan Abhiyan is a Jan Andolan or people movement. It was launched by our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi ji, to improve the nutritional status of children and lactating women on International Women's Day in year 2018 in Jhunjhunu, Rajasthan. Every year, September is observed as Poshan Maha or month. It is overarching scheme for holistic nutrition as Poshan Abhiyan, also known as National Nutrition Mission, with the objective to raise awareness on the importance of nutrition. To tackle this problem, the Ministry of Women and Child Development has planned a series of activities throughout the month to spread broad awareness on the issues related to malnutrition like stunting, undernutrition, anemia, and low birth weight in children. It also focuses on adolescent girls, pregnant women, and lactating mother to eliminate the deficiencies prevailing in health sector. The ministry is trying to reach about 11 crore women and children during this mission through various grassroots activities with convergence of different ministries. The ministry is working on 8 focus themes that are optimal breastfeeding, growth monitoring, hygiene and sanitation, food fortification, girls' education, diet, and marriage at right age. To achieve improvement in nutritional status of children, adolescents, pregnant women, and lactating mother through conducting various seminars and camps. Ministry of Women and Child Development categorizes all ongoing activities under 4 weeks with different theme in the National Nutrition Month. These are from September 1st to 7th September, it will be celebrated as Poshan Vatika. There, like we are trying to improve the nutritional level of the people. Second, September 8th to 15th, that is the second week of this month, which is based on the theme Yoga and Ayush, where we improve our immunity through using the technique of yoga and using the Ayush methodology to improve our physical strength. Third week of this month, that is September 16th to 23rd of September, with the theme to use the regional nutritional kit. That means whatever the crop or the produce we are having at local level, we must create the awareness among the people. They must use the local foods to get the more nutrition. And last week of National Nutrition Week, that is from September 24th to 30th of September, identification of severe acute malnutrition. So among these weeks, like in the month, we, as the Ministry of Women and Child Development suggested 4 weeks. Among this, we are like celebrating the first week of this month as a like nutrition week, and in this we have like distributed the local plants to the women, especially the moringa plant. That is like recent days it is known as the boost food. People are getting lot of nutrients out of this. And later on, we conducted the nutrient-rich recipe context for the students. Trainings for women and girls was also arranged on preparation of value-added products of Kakaria. Kakaria is the locally grown food in this region. And today is the last day of first week, which will accomplish by the motivational words of the eminent speakers among us. So that is all from my side. Now I hand over the platform to the Nilakshi. Nilakshi, please. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am, for introducing us with the objectives and thought behind this celebration. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Rita Raghuvanshi. We get very less opportunities to connect with such profound professionals. I would like to extend my greetings and take the opportunity to introduce her first. Dr. Rita Singh Raghuvanshi did her BSc Home Science, MSc Foods and Nutrition with minor in Biochemistry from GBPUAT Pantnagar and PhD Nutrition from Institute of Medical Sciences, BHU Varanasi in 1984. She received university scholarship, ICAR, JRF, and UGC fellowship during her educational years. Later on, she got 6 months training at London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, UK, under UNDP FAO Fellowship of Nutritional Status Assessment and Nutritional Policy Planning. She was National Technical Coordinator for Foods and Nutrition Unit during 1996 to 2003. Based on the performance during this 5-year plan, AICRP Home Science was bestowed with Chaudhary Devilal Outstanding All India Coordinated Research Project Award Research 2003. She is well known for her academic contributions and excellence in research. She was honored with Dr. Rajamal P. Devadas Memorial Award, Gold Medal, and Memorial Lecture, Nutrition Society of India, National Institute of Nutrition, Hyderabad, for quality research in community nutrition. She is fellow member of International College of Nutrition and also Mobilization Society. She is bestowed with Outstanding Alumni Award GB Pant University of Agriculture and Technology, Pantnagar in 2019. Young Investigator International Awards of the Millennium was given to her by World Congress of Clinical Nutrition. Her several research publications and presentations with students got awarded. In addition to being part of AICRP HSc, Dr. Raghuvanshi has conducted 27 research projects funded by ICAR, ICMR, UGC, AIMS, Networking Project, DST, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, Uttarakhand state government, and private industries. She has written about 30 books, including textbooks for graduates, book chapters, and technical bulletins. She has guided 12 PhD, 24 MSc, and 3 postdoctorate fellows. She has authored around 140 research papers in national and international journals. Her 3 publications on iodine nutrition got place in deciding recommended dietary allowance for Indians 2020. With this, I would like to invite Dr. Rita Raghuvanshi for her keynote address and enlighten us with her words of wisdom.
Thank you. Thank you, Nilakshi, for your kind words and introduction. It's my pleasure to get an opportunity to contact you all. Dr. Vimla Vishnawat, Dean, College of Home Science and Head Department of Foods and Nutrition. I appreciate your words for the work you have been doing for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav and celebrating National Nutrition Week. At this time, I would like to share my slides with you all. I hope you can see it. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I am audible also. So that's good. Now, as the National Nutrition Month's objective goes, it particularly goes with the children. But healthy eating is important for everybody. And healthy eating is important for everybody. And today's world, when we have got so much of pressure of different areas, we wonder how to cope up with that. Because once the seniors of the society, they are settled properly, they will be able to take care of their children. So, very apt topic has been given to me, that is implications of healthy eating on stress management. Now, I just thought of talking about it, so I thought what all I should include in this. And one thing which I thought, that if we are talking about healthy eating, so it should begin with normal nutrition. And since we talk of mental health, stress comes through mental health. So something about what is mental health and what is stress, and thereafter following with stress management and the stress busting foods. So now for mental health, what is the first requirement is optimal nutrition. Optimal nutrition, you can easily consider your balanced diet. And if balanced diet is not there, what kind of problems may occur that we shall deal. But I must emphasize that if proper nutrition is not there, There is a toxic stress of the food items. If you are not eating balanced diet, there are some toxins which produce and stay in the body, and that leads to inflammation, that leads to pain and the swelling and the disturbed situation, disturbed biological environment. So for mental health, we don't want the toxic stress and inflammation. And to support our mental health, we need a strong social support and secure attention. Now, as I mentioned that mental health begins with the brain health, and brain development begins from the conception to 3 years of age. And the brain growth begins during pregnancy because major part is grown of brain is grown during fetal stages. So if at the time of pregnancy, mother is not taking adequate amount of folic acid or iron or calcium or protein, it will influence health of the newborn. The child may be born with some defects, it may be anemic, their bones and teeth growth will be poor, and even the cell development will be less than the normal, and that will affect the baby. So, as you know, that balanced diet include all the nutrients, and all these nutrients are required for building of brain and body. They are needed for building, maintaining, fueling, and repairing every cell in every part of brain and body. Because the experience a cell gets in the early life is reflected in the late life. So, though all the five nutrients are important, some are specifically needs to be mentioned, like protein and energy. Their requirement begins from cell proliferation and cell differentiation. If not enough, cell differentiation will be different and body may not be normal. Growth factor synthesis is affected by protein energy. Iron is required for myelin synthesis. Iron is required for making of hormone dopamine and serotonin. So your behavior gets affected if iron is deficient. Zinc is required for DNA synthesis. The brain configuration may change if zinc is less at the time of cell differentiation and proliferation, because at that time DNA synthesis will be affected. Copper is required for neurotransmitter synthesis. Your sensation from one part of the body or from brain to another part of body, that requires copper. PUFA, polyunsaturated fatty acids, are required for a connection between neurons and muscle cells. Like in the same way, choline is required for neurotransmitter synthesis, myelin synthesis, and DNA methylation. Nutrients interact with system of the body to develop and maintain structural and functional integrity of body as well as brain. Now, the interesting part is a normal person, just I am giving an example, 50 kg person consuming 2000 kilocalories. This person brain is of the 50 kg persons has got 1 kg brain. It is actually 1/50th of the body. And energy requirement, out of 2000 calories, it will consume 500 calories because it requires 25% of body energy is consumed by the brain. It is so active at all the time because it has got 100 billion neurons and neuralgia. Cell membranes, these are composed of lipid and proteins, and when they are active, they need energy. And brain doesn't have energy stores. So they are dependent on active energy coming from other part of the body. Nutrients affect neurotransmitters and mitochondrial integrity. If neurotransmitters are not working properly, then they are not integrated, then your messages from brain to body goes at a slower rate. Now, nutrients, carbohydrates affect cortisol, dopamine, and tryptophan levels, which affect serotonin, that is hormone. So, I will be discussing in detail about how these affect. So, the brain function is best when it is provided with the best nutrients or the best quality of food it is eaten. And if it doesn't get enough nutrients, it can damage inflammatory cells. And eating right can improve anxiety and decrease depression. So, a healthy person, a person with a healthy mind, will always have a sense of contentment, a zest for living, and the ability to laugh and have fun in life, the ability to deal with stress and bounce back from any problems, a sense of meaning and purpose in their activities and in relationship. A mentally stable person will have flexibility to learn new skills and adapt to changes. See, in this COVID time, many of us who were not well versed with the technology of education through computer and all, those who had little problems, some people have got lots of problems. They were not able to handle it. They were always restless and always complaining. Whereas at the similar level of knowledge, there were other people who were quick to gain the skill and adapt to the change. So that shows how the person is mentally stable and healthy. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Kuch to. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. And those people who are mentally stable or mentally healthy, they know how to make balance between work and play. They are not the people who will always be having fun and not working, or they will not be the ones who will always be working and not taking rest. They know how to make the balance because they know the management. And they are self-confident and have high esteem. So these are the kind of people you will generally say they are mentally healthy. But then comes the word stress. Normally we keep complaining about कि बड़ी stressful situation है. But actually जब हम stress की बात करते हैं, तो हमें थोड़ा सा ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि नॉर्मल सिचुएशन में जो काम हो रहा है जिसमें हमें एक्स्ट्रा एफर्ट लगाने पड़ रहा है वो स्ट्रेस नहीं होता. Anyway, the stress is a non-specific response, external or internal, may affect persons physically, mentally or emotionally. अगर stress है तो person physically, mentally और emotionally कैसे भी affect हो सकता है. सबके लिए एक ही formula नहीं लगता है. Because during stress time, hormones are released to cope with the increased demands. And the demands, if the body is able to cope up with the demand, there will not be stress. But if it is not able to cope up with the demand, then it will be stress. So there are 4 types of stress. Not one, 4 types. One is environmental stressors. आजकल बहुत गर्मी है, सबसे ज्यादा स्ट्रेस ये है. बारिश नहीं हो रही है, इसका स्ट्रेस है. Winters में it is getting very cold, that is a stress. Those who are living at marketplace or industry place, they get noise pollution, and that is a cause of stress. Pollution is a stress. So this is the environmental stressor. Another is a physiological stress. If you are sick, if you are lacking sleep, if you are not having enough nutrition, that is the stress. The third is socio-cultural stress. That is financial problem, relationship problems, work problem, environment. So these are the socio-cultural stressors. And then your behavioral stress, where your attitude, belief, overview, how you take the situations, those are cognitive stressors, which are totally under your control how to handle them. Stresses are two types. One is positive stress, that is called eustress. Another is negative stress, that is called distress. Positive stress, if you have to give an exam, before exam you are a little pitchy, you want to read little more, थोड़ा सा time बचा के कुछ और पढ़ लेते हैं, रास्ते में कुछ कर लेते हैं, and trying to do more in the limited period of time, that is eustress, because you are trying to gain something out of this activity. There is a negative stress, which is called distress. Suppose one person fails, and then he starts thinking all negative things, that I cannot survive, I cannot gain something. So those kind of attitudes, they come with the distress. Ideally, everybody should have, individuals does have stress. If stress level is high enough to motivate, it is good. If it is very high and affects the person's ability to meet his or her potential, then it is a negative stress. Stress is very close to your blood pressure. Everybody needs to have blood pressure. Without blood pressure, there is no life. So there has to be a blood pressure. But if it is more than what you can handle, your body can handle, then it is bad. When it is too low, then also it is bad. So stress is required in life in a balanced way. Now, what happens with these stresses? If positive type of stress is there, then positive effects are there. It prepares body to meet challenges. आगे से कोई कीड़ा दिख गया and you run, because you are positively affected that you have to save yourself. That is the kind of thing. So stress is a source of energy. It is physiological arousal and alertness, and it increases your performance. A slight level of stress definitely affects you. But if it is negative, the negative effects is it generates unpleasantness, it promotes negativity, it consumes your energy, it lacks motivation, and it reduces performance. So that is the problem with negative stress and its effect. So the responses of stress, they are actually again 5 types. The behavioral, नींद नहीं आना, अल्कोहल का यूज, काम से मिसिंग होना, एग्रेशन होना, they are behavioral problems. Emotional output of stress is depression, anxiety, irritability, crying. You must have come across people where there is little work given to them and they start crying. So that is a emotional stress response. Some people have got cognitive stress response. That means they lack concentration and get negative thoughts. They start worrying of poor memory. Then physiological, they will increase their blood pressure, shallow breathing, dilation of pupil, dry mouth, muscle tension, and then biochemical. Your BMR will increase, your adrenaline hormone will increase. So these kind of things happens when stresses are there. They are response of stresses. Commonly, there will be headache, low energy, muscle pain, stomach and acidity. That is important. Insomnia, नींद नहीं आना, increased breathing, grinding teeth, increased heart rate. These are the symptoms, but it is not necessary that everyone will get these symptoms. Only few will get these, few will get one, others will get another set of symptoms. And just to emphasize upon stress and GIT, brain and intestine are strongly related. Some of the hormones which play a role in brain, they also play a role in the intestine. So prolonged stress can disrupt the digestion and absorption, and it influences large intestine, causing constipation, cramping, and bloating. So those people who have got lots of constipation, cramping and bloating, and it is not getting out with any medicines, they should try to check out their stress level and relieve those levels. Once they will be relieved, things will be better. And there will be lots of digestive acids production, and because of that, acidity becomes very common, and peptic ulcer and irritable bowel syndrome, they both happen. If stress is long term, कभी-कभी होता है कि अचानक से कल को एक रिपोर्ट सबमिट करनी है, so that is the short term stress. But some people always live in stress. So the long term stress affects your cardiovascular system, which may lead to risk of stroke and heart disease. Then immune system, susceptibility to getting infection becomes faster, and brain gets affected. So anxiety is there, and depression and anxiety becomes lifestyle of the person. Stress has now, if the stress is there, how it relates with our behavior with food. Stress has two effects on eating. If there is acute stress, then properly person doesn't, appetite gets shut down. And if it is moderate, then sometimes people indulge in eating more. कभी ये खा लिया, कभी रात को टेंशन है तो उठ के जाकर के कुछ खाए, and people try to eat more during this time. So this is how the eating behavior gets affected. And when the eating behavior affects, either drinking too much tea and coffee and alcohol maybe for some people, forgetting or skipping meal, mindless munching, कुछ भी खाते रहे, दिन भर चिप्स चबा रहे हैं, चॉकलेट खा रहे हैं, कुछ भी खा लो जब टेंशन है तो. Fast food intake increases. Crash diet, people gets into crash diet. They start forget taking water, and such kind of behavior comes into picture. Then weight issue is there associated with the what you call stress. If there is stress, there is increased cortisol, and with that, there is leptin sensitivity decreases. So person doesn't feel satisfied. So hunger increases and fat storage increases. By this, the obesity becomes a paramount problem in stresses. And then there is imbalances in blood sugar. If there is imbalances in blood sugar, it will lead to tiredness, lapses of concentration, and mood swings. अगर आपका blood sugar level change होता है तो आप moody होते हो. So if it is in short term, it is not treated properly, then body will suffer in long haul with blood sugar problems that are much serious, such as diabetes. So poor nutrition and stress, research has shown that some foods actually induce a state of stress. कुछ चीजें आप खाते हैं तो आपको स्ट्रेस बढ़ जाता है, जैसे एक्सेस अमाउंट ऑफ कैफीन. आप ज्यादा कॉफी पीते हैं तो थोड़ा रेस्टलेस हो जाते हैं. सॉल्ट, ब्लीच्ड फूड्स, foods poor in vitamins and minerals. Because body's resistance becomes less and body becomes less capable of coping with the stress, and its stress response become poor. So poor nutrition enhances stress. So we have to be very sure with a good quality of food and diet in our lives for this. Because when the body senses there is a stress, the hypothalamus signals the anterior pituitary to release ACTH, which stimulates adrenal medulla to release epinephrine or norepinephrine or cortisol. So this way, our body's physiology that changes. The hormonal effect of stress are short-term and long-term. When it is short-term, initially epinephrine increases and norepinephrine also increases. It triggers the body to fight or flight. या तो छोड़ दो सब कुछ या फिर लग के कर लो. These kind of thoughts emerges, and blood pressure and heart rate also increases. But when the stress continues, so long-term chronic stress leads to cortisol is released from adrenal glands. It increases appetite and motivation to eat. And with the motivation to eat, there is increased intake of fats and sugar. And this, along with high cortisol in combination, increases the release of insulin, and that body becomes insulin resistance, which increases abdominal fat and weight gain. So it is a continuous cycle with that. Now, another hormone is a serotonin. Serotonin is chemical that relays information from one part of the brain to another, and it stabilizes blood pressure and reduces stress. Serotonin boosts energy production in brain cells and helps them survive under stress. Low serotonin causes craving for food, and serotonin is made with the help of tryptophan. So if tryptophan is less in the diet, then production of serotonin will be less, and it will not stabilize the mood. The other hormones, noradrenaline, serotonin, and dopamine, they relate with each other. They have different roles to play. Noradrenaline increases alertness. Serotonin, memory, obsession, and compulsion, it works for that. Dopamine, rewards, pleasures, drive, it relates with that. These are produced by food, and therefore food should be of good quality, otherwise neurotransmitters will not be proper. Now, this was about the stress, and now how to manage the stress. One thing in this life is very well known, that stress is inevitable. Stress has a cause, and a cause can always be known कि किस वजह से आपको stress हो रहा है, आपको ही अपने आप सोचना पड़ेगा. And you have to prevent, control, and cope with stress. And for that, in your lifestyle, you have to avoid certain things, you have to alter certain things, you have to accept certain things and adapt to new situations. The way stress can be managed are varied. I have only listed 10. Meditation, exercise, activity, proper sleep, nurture self, support system, manage time, find ways, opt for good nutrition, and use a combination of methods. So I will not be dealing with all, because that is beyond my time limit. So I will talk a bit about good nutrition. Okay, With the right nutrition, impact of stress can be reduced and effectively repair any damage. So what you need first is a good nutrition. Then what you need is good diet plan. Then you need to avoid certain foods also. And you have to increase immune system, which enhancing nutrients. So these are the breakup of the diet. Good nutrition, avoid certain foods which are not right, plan properly those food items, and in food that increases immune system, that should be there in your diet. Okay, with this length, next is what is good nutrition, which nutrients should we eat, and from where do they come. About this, I will take few minutes. One thing is there, we need to eat variety of food items. But when I say variety of food items, I mean variety of grains, variety of pulses, variety of fruits and vegetables, so that the combination makes good amount of minerals, vitamins, proteins, fatty acids, energy that comes from the food. And in addition, it also provides adequate amount of protein, carbohydrate, and fat at each meal as far as possible. Emphasis is on complex carbohydrate, good amount of protein, and the amount and quality of fat needs to be monitored. Then, the function of these nutrients, most of you must be knowing, but for those who do not know much about the nutrients and its function, I will mention it here briefly. B vitamins जो होते हैं, वो स्ट्रेस को करने में मदद करते हैं, क्योंकि वो बॉडी के मेटाबॉलिज्म को हेल्प करते हैं और इस तरीके से वो नर्वस सिस्टम को भी हेल्प करते हैं. विटामिन सी इम्यून सिस्टम को प्रोटेक्ट करता है, एंटीऑक्सीडेंट का काम करता है और जो कॉर्टिसोल प्रोड्यूस होता है उसके अमाउंट को कम करता है. प्रोटीन्स टिश्यूज के ग्रोथ और रिपेयर में काम करते हैं. अगर आपको चोट लग जाए और रिपेयर स्लो हो तो आपका स्ट्रेस लेवल बढ़ा रहता है, सो इट हेल्प्स इन दैट. मैग्नीशियम बहुत सारे बायोलॉजिकल फंक्शन में काम करता है, मसल कॉन्ट्रैक्शन में काम करता है, हार्ट बीट को कंट्रोल करने में काम करता है. इसी तरीके से विटामिन ए है, उसके बहुत सारे रोल हैं जो कि हमारी हेल्थ को मेंटेन करने में काम आते हैं. देन पहले भी मैंने कहा कि वी मस्ट एम्फसाइज ऑन कॉम्प्लेक्स कार्बोहाइड्रेट, होल ग्रेन्स खाना चाहिए, शुगर और स्वीट्स कम खाना चाहिए या नहीं खाना चाहिए जहां तक हो सके. कॉम्प्लेक्स कार्बोहाइड्रेट फाइबर भी देते हैं, उससे आपका डाइजेशन भी अच्छा होता है और आपका कॉन्स्टिपेशन भी कंट्रोल में होता है. And these complex carbohydrates are present in whole grains, vegetables, and fruits, which boost levels of serotonin and they stabilize blood sugar. If you take refined sugar, your blood sugar rises very high, even though it will be digested. But your body, because of high insulin surge time and again, your body becomes insulin resistant, and therefore it is better not to have several spikes of blood sugar in your system. Then omega-3 fatty acids. Brain needs omega-3 as fatty acids for the formation of healthy nerve cells, and these also lower the risk of depression. That is why it is important. Flaxseed, hemp seed, canola, walnut oil, इन सब चीजों में ये होता है. डाइटरी अल्फा लिनोलेइक एसिड, लिवर से लॉन्ग चेन ओमेगा 3 इकोसापेंटेनोइक एसिड और DHA में convert हो जाता है, and this conversion is limited in human being, and therefore if we can get it from elsewhere, it helps in stress controlling. So DHA is a good natural antidepressant. So omega-3 fatty acids we should have in our diet. You get it from fishes also to a great extent. Now, if a person is stressed out already, then the demand on protein increases. So higher amount of protein is given to that person, and for that, milk is the best product. Milk products, lean meat, chicken, fish, egg, beans, lentils, nuts, these are good because milk has got good amount of tryptophan, amino acid, and tryptophan converts to serotonin, which is very much important for control of our mood swings. Amino acids like phenylalanine and tyrosine, they promote our alertness. They increase the rate at which brain neurons produce antidepressant and norepinephrine. So these amino acids are also needed in more amount than the person, normal person. Therefore, this should be, protein should be taken in good quantity. Vitamin C I have already mentioned earlier also, because they are immune, they increase our immunity, and by that they decrease harmful effect of stress and reduce the body's ability to cope with stress response. Okay. Then the vitamin B, the majority of B vitamin functions in the development. This I have already dealt with you. Magnesium and selenium, they are available in grains and they are also important for the body. What we need to avoid, that is refined sugar, white carbohydrate, and caffeine. I talked about it all. Immune system increase करने के लिए vitamin C, beta carotene, vitamin D, vitamin E, and zinc. These are important, and they are available in wide variety of food and fruits and vegetables. So you should increase your intake of fruits and vegetables, and diversity should be there. कुछ foods ऐसे हैं जो stress कम करते हैं और आपको अपने कंफर्ट लाते हैं. उन फूड्स के मैं आपको नाम बताऊंगी क्योंकि फंक्शन सबके बहुत अलग अलग है, वो बताना में बहुत समय लगेगा. ऑरेंजेस, चॉकलेट, फिश, वॉलनट्स, ग्रीन टी, होल ग्रेन, प्रोबायोटिक्स, स्पिनच, गोभी एंड ब्रोकली, बनाना, एग्स, सीड्स जो नट्स हैं, सीड्स हैं, मिल्क, अश्वगंधा जो हर्बल मेडिसिन का है, और उस सब के साथ साथ वाटर. स्ट्रेसफुल सिचुएशन में इफ यू विल ईट दीज आइटम, दे विल रिमूव योर स्ट्रेस टू सम एक्सटेंट. जो फ्लैक्स सीड्स और पंपकिन सीड्स, ये सारी सीड्स आप ले सकते हैं. तो कंक्लूड करते हुए यही कहना चाहूंगी, स्ट्रेस इज अ कॉमन प्रॉब्लम, but we all have it and we have to learn to live with it, and we should be able to cope up with it by changing our various activities. We need to identify which factors are causing stress and how to cope up with them. We may avoid those stress factors, we may work according to those factors, we may adapt to that situation, we may alter our situation, that those kind of things we can take up. And another thing is there, to overcome the stress, we have to improve our eating pattern, because unhealthy eating also leads to what you call stress. Because if you have got more weight, you have got inflammation, they increases your stress factors. Another key ingredients to good health, and probably most important, having a well-balanced nutritional eating plans there. A concluding statement is that a balanced nutrition plays an important role when we are under stress. When stress occurs, a well-balanced nutrition and good mood food will boost our resistance against the effects that stress brings upon the body. That is where I conclude it, but just add a few things that if there are some students around, nutrition students around, then I will say those who wish to become dietitian, they should enhance their skills towards this coming up problem. They should know what is stress. As a consultant, they should work out on the changes in the nutritional needs of the stressed person, which food items and which nutrients are involved with stress, and their dietary needs of the patient should be assessed, keeping in mind their stress situation and food habits. And other counseling should be there along with the personalized nutrition. So this is, I think with this, I would like to say, if you are consuming proper diet, which is well balanced, it not only maintains your physical health, but also mental health. And mental health is equally important for development of the individual, of the family, of the institution where they are, and thereby of the country. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Vimla, for giving me this opportunity to talk on this topic. Thank you very much. If there are any queries, I may take up.
Mental health of a person is just as important as their physical health, and stress is one of the major cause affect the mental health and overall development of a person and his personality. Thank you, ma'am, for a great session on stress management and healthy eating. We are very delighted to hear you, and definitely the session will be useful for everyone present here in their daily life now and forever. Without any further ado, I would like to introduce our guest speaker, Ms. Akanksha Arora. Ms. Akanksha Arora is a gold medalist 2017 alumni of College of Home Science SKRAU Bikaner. She did her MSc Food Science and Nutrition MPUAT Udaipur, Rajasthan in 2019. She has interest in sports nutrition, and to follow her interest, she is currently pursuing her work in sports and exercise nutrition from University of Westminster, London, UK. She possesses outstanding organizing and execution skills, which she demonstrated constantly during her graduation and master's studies. Now, I formally invite Ms. Akanksha for her guest lecture. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for inviting me, for introducing me. And am I audible? Am I audible?
Akanksha, we are not getting your voice actually. There is.
Is it disturbing, or you can't hear me at all?
I can hear you very clearly.
Yes, Akanksha, you're audible.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah, just a minute. I should start sharing my screen. So first of all, I want to thank Dr. Vimla Dunkwal and Dr. Mamta Singh for giving me this opportunity to take part, to contribute to the Nutrition Week. And today my presentation will revolve around introducing sports nutrition and explaining the importance of sport nutrition. And the message that I'm trying to give is a nutrition student, like why a nutrition student should study sports nutrition. Like like Nutrition Week is about spreading awareness about nutrition, but we need more nutrition experts. We need sports nutrition experts to spread awareness in that field. So I'll try to convey that message with my presentation. So just to start, what exactly is sports nutrition? It's basically a combination of nutrition and exercise science, and it revolves around 4 key objectives. First of all, the main objective is providing fuel for any kind of physical activity. Secondly, facilitating the and providing optimizing any athlete's performance. And lastly, the main objective of every kind of nutrition is to maintain overall health and well-being. Exactly are the scopes. What if anyone becomes a sports nutritionist? Becomes a sports nutritionist, who they can consult? What type of population you can consult? As the name suggests, it's sports nutrition. But it is not confined to just sport. It's a general notion. If you're studying sports nutrition, then you will work with cricketers and footballers and those elite teams. But although that is the case, but there are other type of populations which you can consult, like anyone from fitness industry. There are so many people who are trying to manage their weight. You can consult them. The recreational athletes who are not participating in sport for competing or for winning, they're just doing it for their hobby. You can also consult them. And apart from this, there are other small population groups like dancers. They're not sports person, but they are doing some activities which are different from what we do regularly. They also need specific kind of nutritional guidelines. And military personals, it's not less than a sport. They need specific kind of nutrition. And astronauts and disabled athletes and fashion models who they have to look a certain way. They have to manage their diet accordingly. They have to fit in a certain type of dress. So they need nutritional guidance, which is different from what we give to a general population. So for this, a more accurate term will be performance nutrition, a nutritional strategy to provide fuel or to support any kind of performance, which is other than any general day-to-day activity. That everything comes under the scope of sports nutrition. But why do we need sports nutrition? These are some headlines, some highlights of articles, and these all are from very high athletes. And say the picture you can see on the left hand side, it's of a mixed martial art athlete. She just a day before her event, she had to lose some weight so that she can fit under that weight category she want to compete in. And for that, she was advised to take some kind of therapy in which she was supposed to stand in minus 130-degree chamber. And that led to this. It burned her skin and she had to run to emergency service. Other such examples, there are so many examples in combat sports where an athlete is supposed to lose a lot of weight before their event just to fit in that weight category, and they take extreme measures, and there are so many cases of deaths in that kind of sports, in boxing or wrestling or whatever type of combat sports are there. Similarly, in aesthetic sports and sports like gymnastics and swimming, where you have to, your appearance also matter. You have to look very sleek, you have to fit into a certain type of dress. And in those type of sports, eating disorder is a very big problem. Why? Because they're not aware of what they should eat. And especially in gymnasts, in aesthetic athletes in foreign countries, children start to take part in a very young age. They are in a growing stage and they are not aware of what they should eat, but they have to fit in that peer group. They have to listen to what their coach is saying. They have to look a certain way, because of that they won't eat all day long, and after that they'll go and binge. So this type of instances are so much prevalent in this sports category. And these all are examples of very uh, high level athletes, if they are playing internationally, nationally, state level, or at least those athletes who have who can grab opportunity to get nutritional guidelines, but don't still they are not aware. So we can imagine what will happen at a grassroots level, where facilities are not enough. So in India, in past few years, there is increase in awareness about sports or fitness. Especially during lockdown, everyone was trying to focus on their fitness and health, and government also have introduced few programs like Halo India and Fit India movement to introduce sport at every level in young age, especially like in schools, college, universities, everywhere. So we need more sports nutrition experts so that we can help at every stage. And especially we are from agriculture university, we already have roots in rural areas, and if we have more and more nutrition experts, we can start helping them from that level only, so that they can reach up to national or international level. Further, I just want to give you a little glimpse of what basic science sports nutrition revolves around. Although it's very complex, but these are the key points uh, which which are a motivation or a fascinating to me to start with. So although it's very complex, we have to start with the general objectives I discussed, and we have to go to very specific to individual requirement. But three are the key components. The first one is nutritional and physiological demand of whatever type of physical activity it is. Secondly, it's the knowledge of bioenergetics, focusing on energy system and substrate utilization. And thirdly, fueling the body, basically meal planning part. So the nutritional and physical demands, it depends upon it. It varies. Like we can think like a swimmer and a cricketer will not have a same type of nutritional demands, or a bodybuilder or someone who is going to gym will have a different nutritional demands or physiological demand than any other sports person. So it basically revolves around three things. First is the duration of a performance. Like if a person is doing a sprint or a 5K race or is going for a marathon, so what is the duration of that event, of that sport? Secondly, it will revolve around power or agility, like what type of sport it is. Either it needs your power, it's like a you have to use your muscles, you have to do weightlifting, or you need to be very quick in things. Like if you're playing tennis, you have to move from one end to another end very quickly, you need agility. Or is it a continuous sport or an intermittent? Continuous as in if it's a marathon, like it's that person is continuously running, or is it intermittent, like in cricket, a sports person will do a sprint when he have to take run, otherwise he'll be in a resting stage. A bowler will run only when he's bowling, otherwise he'll be standing. So there will be short spurts of that requirement of his nutritional requirement will be different for every thing he is doing. next, it's about the energy system, what is using. Like we basically have 3 energy systems. First is the phosphagon system, when we have to use a lot of energy per second. We are only using muscle, like we are just lifting a weight, so we just need energy in just few seconds. So at that time our body use phosphocreatine, whatever we have in our muscles, our body will rely on that. Next, after that, after 10 seconds our body will shift to a anaerobic glycolysis, where until that only that also our body is not able to use the oxygen, so it will start providing ATP, producing ATP without that. So until 1 or 2 minutes, like in case of swimmers, they just swim from one end to another. They need they use their anaerobic glycolysis pathway, and then after that we shift to what we normally what is a general way of producing ATP, that's the aerobic respiration. Next key thing is substrate utilization. Like we all know that protein is not a source of energy unless we don't have carbohydrate or fat available in our body. So, but whether our body will use carbohydrate or fat, we have it will depend upon what exercise you're doing, what's the intensity and duration of exercise or event it is. Say, for example, the gym, we are doing a very high intensity exercise in 20 minutes we have to do, and it's a very short duration exercise, but intensity is super high. At that time our body will rely on carbohydrate. But as it goes long, like if duration is very long, like especially in marathons, when duration is long and the intensity of running is not that high, our body will rely on fat. It's not that it will only use carbohydrate and fat, but the dominance of one type of substrate will be high. Then moving on to our third key component, which is strategic fueling for optimum performance. It is similar to what we do in any area of nutrition, but here meal timing is very crucial, because we need optimum fuel to perform any kind of physical activity. So, and we need to replenish that again after exercise. So meal timing is very crucial in sports nutrition. The pre-event, during event, and post-event. We need pre-event to fuel so that person can perform best. During event also, that we can keep replenishing, and post-event we need for recovery. And other considerable factors are similar as we do for any other area in nutrition. And this meal timing does not mean like fueling does not is for one meal or 1 week or 1 month, only during when they're playing. It's throughout the season. If we are working with a team or any kind of athlete, we have to guide them throughout. Is it pre-season, in season, post season, or off season? Because we have to eventually make them keep them healthy so that they can perform well in that one event. So overall, what are the roles of sports nutritionists? From whatever I explained, we can conclude that we need to fuel their performance and maintain their health, but it doesn't end there. We have to influence, we have to make sure that whatever we are explaining them, they actually implement that. We have to influence their behavior. We have to make sure that we are changing their behavior throughout, because we cannot stay with them for all the time. We are counseling them for 1 hour once a week, but what they're doing throughout the week is up to them. So we have to make sure that we change their behavior. And if we are working with a team or any sports academy or place like that, we have to coordinate with their coaches, with their physiotherapists, to understand if they went through any injury or something, or if they're going through any eating disorders, in this kind of problems. And the main thing, we also have to keep in mind, if there is a catering team, food service personals are there, we have to manage them as well, because a sports person the food is not in his hand. Food is in the hand of the person who is cooking. So we have to keep providing nutrition education to them as well. So the role of sports nutrition doesn't end just to provide one session of counseling to an athlete or a person, a fitness person. We have to work on every other thing which is influencing their eating. And there are some, like, if I'm talking about being a sports nutritionist, there are organizations in India also. They in past few years there are many universities that have introduced this course, but still we don't have a specific designated organization who is providing us a certification or a title of registered sports nutritionist yet. But there are such organizations around the globe, like SCNR is in United Kingdom. There is Australia also provide this certification. American College of Sports Medicine is authority which provides nutrition guidelines and is considered, and it is recognized throughout the world. It provides all the key guidelines. And there is one organization, International Society of Sports Nutrition, which is based in America. And it provides certificate to every one throughout the world, and it is valid throughout the world. You can practice on that registered title through anywhere throughout. So these are few authorities which can provide you guidelines, and if you want to continue further with this. So yes, that was all from my side. Thank you so much. And if there is any query, please feel free to ask.
Thank you, Akanksha. It was really a great session, and we have questions as well. Miss Deepa Indoria is asking that what is artificial protein which is used in sports?
Artificial protein is, like, I personally have never I don't want to give a wrong answer, but personally I've never read about this. There are synthetic, like there are artificial meats available in the market, but there's no they I have never read about this, so I don't want to give you a wrong answer. But yes, there are many artificial meats available which like which you can eat as a replacement if you are going on a diet or anything. There are form is available artificially, but I have never personally read about the artificial protein. I'm sorry.
Maybe
Okay,
she's
and the next,
interested in knowing what is a protein powder which is available in market. Is that okay to provide? Because that is very controversial. Protein concentrates, protein powders.
Yeah. Those things are available, but it's not these are those supplements are just extract of say for example whey. We dry all that milk, it's a concentrate, and then we extract just whey from that. It becomes isolate. So it depends on what type of thing you're buying. Everything contributes to your protein intake, but how it will function inside your body, it is different. Like, because we always use a food first approach. If you're drinking milk, that is a combination of thing. It'll give you protein, but with the combination of healthy fats and carbohydrate, and with all this our body will like, there are studies actually on this, that if someone is taking just whey isolate or whey concentrate, just a protein powder, and or drinking milk, the person who is drinking milk is more healthy and more efficient in their performance in every day-to-day life, because we just don't need protein. There are several, we when we in general, there are these things like eat protein, carbohydrate, fat. These only three macronutrients are these three terms are famous. They don't talk about what other things we need. So much of other, like omega we need, and so many things which are required for overall health. we don't talk about. We just need someone in like if we go to gym, a personal trainer will tell you this amount of protein you need, and that's it. They won't tell you that you need fat also, you need carbohydrate also. So yeah, those things might help, but the preference should be given to say, for example, milk or the food.
Okay, thank you, Akanksha, for the answer. And if anyone else has any question, or drop it in the chat box, or should we move on? Dr. Monica Bhati wants to ask that protein powder are useful for us or not?
Protein powder, they are not, like, I won't say that they are unhealthy, but if you're if you can eat food, because what happens is when we eat food in combination, like the way it is available in nature, it will help you grow more. The reasons behind this protein supplement is only recommended when you're not able to consume that much amount of protein. For example, for an athlete who is a weightlifter, he needs what, 200 grams of protein, 250 grams of protein. It's not practically feasible to consume that much amount of protein with food. It is not possible. So in that case, we provide protein. But when you're going to gym and just trying to gain a little weight just to tone your muscles, then it is not at all required. You can simply just consume it with your diet. You can take you just have to improve your diet. There is no need to introduce protein powder. It is just a marketing gimmick, nothing else.
Uh,
I would like to request Mamta ma'am to add something on this question that protein powders are useful for us or not.
um, it was a nice session, Kanksha, but I think you are more likely to stress on sports nutrition. So I would like to add on that if we see the diet of Indian diet and we calculate the amount of protein in it, we will find that the amount which is required for a body is not that much. 0.6 amount of protein. So that person can take or can take a support of this type of protein. But it is right. You said that if we increase our diet with the appropriate amount of protein, fat, and energy, that will be more beneficial as compared to the taking any artificial or protein supplement. Is it true, Akanksha?
Yes, ma'am, I completely agree with you.
Okay, okay. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
There is one more question. The participant asking that taking supplements do have any side effect.
It actually depends on what type of supplement you are taking. Like if you're taking protein, protein. If you're taking too much protein and if you already have a sensitive kidney, then it will definitely impact. There are studies showing that if you have a slight weak kidney, then high amount of protein will eventually influence that. And if you're taking any other kind of supplement like multivitamins or multi mineral tablets we have, it depends on what kind of composition it is made of, what kind of chemical it is. And yeah, it completely depends on what you are taking and how much you are taking it.
I would like to invite Rita ma'am to join the conversation and answer this question as well.
Which question? Should I-
Ma'am, one of the participants asked that whether the supplements have any side effect or not.
Well, supplements, Akanksha has very rightly said what kind of supplement it is. That's very important.
Video on in or
Supplements could be one or two types. I mean, one is the vitamins and mineral mixtures could be there. Their balance is important, how much you are taking through diet and what kind of balance it is making, because imbalances also adversely affect health. That is about vitamins and minerals. Particularly calcium is being supplemented to a great extent many a times, which may not be suitable unless there is definitely need is there. Now coming to protein, protein definitely affects the kidney if it is taken more than required amount and body is not able to metabolize it, or the load on kidney, as if the kidney is sensitive, then it is definitely going to affect you. The third kind of supplement is with the carbohydrate or the sugar. During exercises, some people feel that taking pure sugar kind of thing, having lots of chocolates, that will boost their energy level. But yes, you must also know that if there are spikes in blood sugar level to a great extent, not at that time, but later in life, the person may become insulin sensitive, insulin resistant, and that may lead to diabetes. So actually, um, it depends on what kind of supplement it is and who is the person who is getting the supplement. Akanksha very nicely mentioned that normally gym people do not provide, they ask for how much protein should be taken. But actually in the real life, what is happening, they are going for the marketing gimmick and they are telling to take protein powder, which is not good. That must be ensured. I mean, it is better to go to a nutritionist rather to depend only on gym personnel who is also selling the protein powders. I think that is all I can say right now, unless very specific you go on. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the elaborated answer. And one more question is there from Swati Mahajan, who wants to ask duration of calcium tablet and the harmful effects of taking calcium.
You want me to answer? Okay. How much time should we take iron and calcium supplements in a year? See, as a nutritionist, I would like you to take the right kind of diet and do not take any supplement. Okay, that's number one. If you are a woman and you are in the phase of menopause, then during the menopause time, you need to take it. But but after that phase is over, then you should not go on calcium supplementation. With regard to children growth years, if they are lactose intolerance, not able to take milk, and other food items are not very high in calcium, then they may be advised calcium. And calcium should come with vitamin D also, so that its absorption is proper. Unless bone density is affected, I won't advise calcium supplement should be given. Okay.
I think there are some repetition kind of questions are here, and as ma'am already said that there is no need of taking the supplements, any kind of supplements, whether it is a vitamin or a mineral or anything else. Okay, so I think that question round is over from participants also, because we are not gotten receiving different kinds of questions. So Nilakshi, I request Nilakshi to move ahead and
Yes, ma'am. Everyone would agree that today we added some knowledge and got some useful tips which will be helpful for all of us. Any event or webinar isn't completed until we thank each and everyone for their efforts and zeal to be with us. So now I request Dr. Mamta Singh, Assistant Professor, Department of Food and Nutrition, College of Home Science, SKRAU Bikaner, to give formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, Nilakshi. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Food and Nutrition Department, College of Home Science, SKRAU Bikaner, first of all, I would like to thank our Honorable VC, Professor R.P. Singh Sir, for his guidance and support provided for the smooth conduction of this event. I would like to express our gratitude to our dynamic speaker, Professor Rita Raghuvanshi ma'am, who spared her valuable time from her busy schedule to deliver such an enlightening and illuminating lecture. Ma'am, your contribution took a significant part in our event. I am delighted to thank our distinguished speaker and alumni, Akanksha Arora, for delivering such an interesting and explanatory lecture. We feel proud to see you in such a position, Akanksha, and will always want you to acquire higher position in future too. I am thankful to our exuberant head, Dr. Vimla Dunkwal, for everything she brings to the table without any hassle and problem. Thank you, ma'am. I also thank our participants who have enthusiastically participated and made this event a success. I extend my thanks to our technical committee for their support during the session. Last but not the least, I would like to thank our anchor, Ms. Nilakshi Tanima, for interlacing this event delicately and smartly. I also thank all our students and supporting staff for making this seminar a big success. Thank you once again, everyone. Thank you.
With this, we end the webinar, hoping that
Hoping
what
that
we
what
learned
we learned today,
we will
we will
apply it
apply
in
it
our
in
lives
our lives
and try to help
and try
others
to help others who are in need.
only then the purpose of this webinar and celebrating Nutrition Month will be accomplished. Thank you everyone for joining us and have a nice day ahead.